Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. Yeah, so whether or not you want to believe it, Jamaicans who migrate to other countries, people's eyes have been opening, yes, when it come on to our people. And Jamaicans are not being treated, I wouldn't say fairly. Jamaicans are not being welcome in the other Caribbean islands, all because of this culture of criminality. And yes, and we gonna continue to preach it from here. And it's not the people's fault, it's the governments over the years. The last time Jamaica was experiencing any form of discipline where the government instilled it as 1989. From 1989 February, Jamaica has been on a trajectory for destruction. We are pretty much at the abyss, and some people are saying that we cannot dig ourselves out, but I refuse to believe such notion. Reason being, I'm a very optimistic person, not a pessimistic person. So we're continuing the journey. It's a continuation of this man who, yes, as you would say, boy, a man jump out of fire. A man jump out of fire and jump straight into a frying pan. Yeah, man. So this is what's happening to a Jamaican who lives in a Trinidad and Tobago. So we want you to listen to his story. So and yeah, so Jamaica eye-opening encounter confronting corrupt officials in Trinidad and Tobago. I won't say corrupt officials, we are talking about police officers and immigration officers over there in Trinidad and Tobago. So whether or not you want to believe it, Jamaicans are not liked in these Caribbean islands, People despise us. And rightfully so. And I do not, honestly, I have nothing against these people not wanting Jamaicans in their country. In the period. You could have said me a traitor a little more. I would not want people who come in my country bringing their culture of criminality to destroy my country. Things that I have seen happen in Trinidad and Tobago never happened before. Where men shoot up police station. Jamaicans were behind it. Although the police, they killed them. You understand? Who would want people like those in? You don't want them in your country. Once you give these people and you tell them about rights, human rights, they're going to tear down everything. So you don't want them in your country. Period. But it's not every Jamaican. You can't use a brush and paint every Jamaican as the same person. But you know how it is. Whenever you live somewhere and it's you have to be close with the government in terms of law enforcement. And it seems like, trust me, Jamaicans have been shut out in the Caribbean islands, rightfully so. And you Jamaican people who live in the so-called garrisons and ghetto, it's only one. All you people have to blame is yourself and your political representative. They are the ones that lets you feel like it's an acceptable behavior to commit crime and police are Babylon and a man run things and man have rights and them thing there. Rights come with responsibilities. So, so in this eye-opening video, a Jamaican individual shares their shocking encounter with corrupt officials in Trinidad and Tobago, meaning police officers and immigration officials. Yes. So as the story unfolds, it becomes evident that not all is well within the law enforcement system in these Caribbean nations. However, it is crucial to reserve judgment until you hear this man's account about the Trinidad and Tobago officers and immigration officials who unfortunately not the epitome of corruption. So prepare to be astounded, and this recount is harrowing experience of running away from fire only to find himself jumping into the blazing fire of injustice in Trinidad and Tobago. So this person's testimony sheds light on the hidden reality that some Jamaicans cops are corrupt, but the situation extends beyond national borders. Discover the true extent of the problem as he fearlessly exposed the shocking truth about the Trinidad and Tobago police officers and immigration officials. Uncover their tactics to manipulate the system and prey on innocent individuals, especially Jamaicans. Jamaicans are the most hated people in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, and as a born Jamaican, yes, and I will say rightfully so. You could have called me traitor all you want. Not until our people, the culture of this criminality is changed. Trinidad and Tobago is now the second murder capital in the Caribbean. And who contribute to that? Jamaicans. You don't want them in your country. And I am saying that without any apologies. Yeah, and you're going to hear them, oh, we don't say him like where him come from. Yeah, like one could eat that right. Say, oh, him not like where him come, him not like Johnson and Jungle, him not like where him come. Or if you like a place where them teach you about, say, the first thing them teach you, you must hate the police. Like, police are your enemy, and police are dead. And every labourer for dead. Who feel like that, the kind of culture there? When I fool, police are the one that maintain the law. We know, so we have corrupt police. We not deny that. We know them. Because they are the one that issue guns in my community. Big Youth and Barrett Hamilton. They are the ones that issue M16 and pistols in my community. I have seen it as a little boy growing up, so you can't tell me nothing. So no go and you think me care about you know? I don't care about only you know, that's the youth them, the young youth them where I grew up and feed them all some of them have some corals mama we encourage them to commit crime. You understand? Just like the boy, the little 12-year-old boy from Mackay Lane near Meow, where they killed 14 people and for him dirty mama. Yeah, that's how we call her. For him dirty mama about, oh, our boy a 5-star general. For kill people. You understand? All them craziness there. Your boy a 12 and gunman kill him and him dead on the road like dog. And you go about your son a 5-star general. What kind of mother that? I'll feel your womb for curse, man. So gain a deeper understanding of the complex dynamics behind corruption and its impact on society. So by sharing this story, we are determined to shed light on the rampant corruption plaguing law enforcement agencies in the Caribbean region. Join us to raise awareness about these issues and foster change within the justice system. It's time to confront the truth and demand accountability for all those meant to protect us. Take advantage of the eye-opening encounter that challenges preconceived notions and reveals the dark underbelly of corruption in Trinidad and Tobago. Prepare to be shocked, enraged and inspired by this powerful testimony. I want you to watch now. So you know, this Jamaican experience in Trinidad and Tobago unveiling cultural conflict and perceived crime influence. So as we bring you intriguing stories and accounts from individuals who have experienced life in different parts of the world, in this eye-opening episode, we delve into the experiences of Jamaican man living in Trinidad and Tobago, shedding light on the cultural conflict and perceived influence of crime. Trinidad and Tobago has an unsettling hostility towards Jamaicans. And we're not going to hide it, we hear it all the time. Hey, look here. Even when I was in the military, there was this guy from, whenever I get on, because I can tell you this, the people them from the other country, the only country in the Caribbean that I have met when I was in the military, and even since I live here, the only people in the Caribbean that really embrace we as Jamaicans and love us was the people them from Barbados. I don't know, but they're just totally different. But you see the other, them hate us, them jealous of Jamaicans. Yes, them jealous of us for so many reasons. Because the thing is that, yeah, we as Jamaica, we not take crap from people and them thing. We are telling that straight up. Yeah, we not talk about no fight. We not take crap from people. We know when people don't like we, and we push back against them thing. Them, yeah, the others them we see it and them suck it up on them thing. So the peoples them from Barbados them tend to gravitate to we because them even in our military can them realize we're not afraid of people because that's the way that we were raised. Whilst them the other one them are like when I say coon and them thing them are sell out for them own people. But we stand up for what we believe is right, even if it cause us evil problem, cause us with life. Yeah, so as we tell us, so the others them just hate us. Them jealous of Jamaicans and them thing. They are a little island, they are a little island, them all even people them from Guyana. Well, the Guyanese women them, the Indian them will try the Guyanese Indian them would push up themselves on you as a Jamaican man and them thing. I don't know for what reason, but I just you have to know where you do. Cause I like for me and them thing there, me as a man me just total different from me is a one burner. I just saw it go. You understand? Because you don't know you have to set a standard, Kind of really matter how a man want to feel like say, oh boy, me have all that no work. A madness that. Me tell any you that and them thing there. When they reach a certain age, you have to just dish them kind of thing there. And you have to start think responsible. You understand? Because remember, in our 80s growing up, you understand? Plenty youth, lucky, because back then, when the AIDS epidemic just started, HIV, a man catch a gonorrhea and say, boy, thank God I gonorrhea and not AIDS. So you don't want to take them chances and them things. You can't just look for somebody and say, boy, them healthy. So you have to just know what you do. You understand? So be careful. You understand? So, as we tell you already, there's an unsettling hostility towards Jamaican, as mentioned, is going to mention by this guest. So the clashes mainly arise due to difference in culture and perception of crime. It is essential to recognize that these experiences are subjective and do not represent the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago. And guess what? I was in communication with a police officer from Trinidad, and in a Trinidad and Tobago, may I show you culture is toxic, the Jamaican culture. In a Trinidad and Tobago, you have criminal when named J-Man. That a J-Man with a jail at Broward County, You have man over there when named Dudos, man named Starkey, Willie Agat. How and God's hey, you don't even have any person and them thing that way come and say, boy, my name Marcus Garvey and try for copy Marcus Garvey. A pure criminal name, man, Sandakan, Natty Morgan. I say, what kind of madness that? As a people. So I saw the Jamaican culture and because of the music and all of these things. You understand? So you're going to hear from our guests who suggest that Jamaicans are often accused of attempting to erode the local culture wherever they settle. And it's true. And we see it too, honestly, we see it in England and them thing. But look here now. You see in England where the Jamaicans, them are restructure the cultural differences in England and take away the white. That's how white people do. Everywhere them go, them change people culture. But the Jamaican culture, because it is so toxic and acidic, it come like a parasite, You say once you catch it, there's no cure, So you understand? So that's why them tighten up on the immigration thing, But it already, look, if you still look over there and them thing, every week them have stabbing, killing, because them can't get no gun for kill people. Jamaican culture, that, and the gang business, white youth, I say, what kind of madness this? So that's why you, as a Jamaican, wherever you live, you have to stay far from them because it's toxic. You understand? So while it is essential to celebrate and preserve one's own culture, it is also crucial to embrace diversity and appreciate the richness of other cultures that other cultures bring. There have been concerns raised about the import of criminal activity alleged associated with Jamaican communities. And we at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, we are going to tell you that is true. One thing, you're not going to hear we telling a lie. Yeah, if you want to hear a lie, you have to hear at the wrong place. And I am going to tell you, the master and the godfather of criminality in Jamaica, Michael Manley, PJ Patterson, Portia Simpson, Bruce Golding, Andrew Holness, and the PMP criminal, all of them people there. The last prime minister we have in Jamaica, where that was trying to bring back Jamaica from the abyss of criminality, was Edward Seaga, and he's the most hated man in Jamaica by seeing black people because them don't like discipline. But look here, You see when them in the white man country, you want to see most of them how them obey rules and regulations. You know? But some of them can't change. So them as them reach a foreign, them end up go to jail and get deported. Because them feel see how the world operate. Because them leaders like the Mark Golden and the Peter Bunting and all them people there and the PMP them and Delroy Chuck and all of them criminal sympathizer and Caroline Gooms and Lisa and all these people. Them feel like say Jamaican feel like say that's how the world operate, and it's only Jamaica alone. Our people, our Jamaicans alone in the Caribbean is allowed to behave this way because of the politicians them. Because in Jamaica we not a leader, you know. And the people them lead, they all corrupt them leader, and the politicians them fall off a vote. Anytime you have a leader in Jamaica, people last time we have a leader was Edward Seaga. And him used to rock neck. So moving on. So crime is a global challenge and should not be singularly attached to any specific community or nationality. This video promotes understanding and dialogue among different cultures, urging viewers to question biases and stereotypes. We aim to foster an environment of unity and respect where diverse people can coexist harmoniously. So watch this thought-provoking video. Thought-provoking video, the episode to gain an insight into Jamaican experience in Trinidad and Tobago. Uncover the cultural conflict and examine perceived influence of crime. Let's strive for better understanding and appreciation of one another's background, because we can only bridge divides and build more inclusive society through empathy and open-mindedness. But look, you know, I am going to be frank, you know. Honestly, this is how this is my suggestion, you know, as a former detective, police officer, born Jamaican, detective in Jamaica. This is what I would tell any the Bahamian them, the Bahamian them in the Bahamas, the other countries them in the Caribbean. This is how you have to assess the Jamaican them before you let them in your country. We're not talking about CARICOM. Carry for go on, because the CARICOM going to mash up on the country. But I tell you that. You see, once you start to question a Jamaican and you realize them cannot make a complete sentence, you send them back to Jamaica. They are the problems. We are telling you that. A complete sentence. And look here, I'm teach you like a trick question on them thing there. Just ask them this, you know, because as something with them embedded in them, you know. Just ask them this question, immigration officials. Just say to them, say, inform of it, and them going to tell you because it's natural. They might tell you, say, inform of it dead. You know, say you don't want them in your country. Just use that, and you have many ways of spin it around them. So you ask them thing there. Now ask them about who them are going to look for. Ask them some things, and based on them answer, you don't want them in your country. Them are iris. Come here, I tell you, them are going to answer it. Because look, in Jamaica, you know, the culture is so toxic that it's easier for a man to say I'm a criminal, I'm a killer, than to say I'm a law-abiding citizen. Because when you're a law-abiding citizen in Jamaica, people don't look upon you like you're a fool. So, because them know so when them commit crime, you after a certain time them get them record expunged and them a decent citizen. So you can't even trust all the criminal, the fingerprint record out of Jamaica, because the government itself corrupt too. So if you are reached this far, you know, listening to this video, and you haven't subscribed to the Jamaica Young Police channel, please subscribe now to the channel and select all, so that whenever we at the Jamaica Young Police channel release a video, you'll be the first. You'll be the first to get the notification and you'll be able to watch the video. Yes. Remember to select all. Share the video. Yeah, share the video with a friend, your boyfriend, your grandma, grandpa. Yeah, because we have our great grandma that listen to Jamaica Young Police channel. Yeah, man. Mrs. Brevet, Happy New Year and long life and all them things to you, and to all our other elderly viewers who know when Jamaican people used to shun criminality. Are you who want to hear from you know? You understand? We sorry we don't get to talk, get to finish talk with Mrs. Brevet, so you can share and tell the Jamaican people. Say, oh, one time a man was got jail. Because when we talk, you know, people feel like a joke we are making. You know. Back when I was growing up, you have a family who got jail, you know. Your family is cursing in the community, nobody not talk to you, you know. And Michael Manley come normalize that, you know, with Bounty Boy and fed them up, you know. We are telling that, you know. So when a guy come talk about this and that, Michael Manley is first man to bring two known murderer official government trip to Cuba, burn the boy and fed him up, and him kick over a table in front of Fidel Castro, and then they want to kill him right there because him this Michael man Fidel Castro, and Michael said no, and him come back and them kill him downtown. You understand? A support a criminal that, you know. You understand what I'm saying? So I tell you. So remember to give the video a thumbs up. Yeah, give the video a thumbs up. Yeah, when you thumbs up the video, remember, you know, comment below. And if you haven't joined the Patreon squad, yeah man, join the Patreon squad where you will be able to see video that others won't be able to view. And we're gonna tell you, people at the Patreons, the people at the Patreon and those and the subscribers, you know, who join the channel. The video about Christopher Dudus, his great escape, you people will be seeing it first. Yeah, I don't know, so it go on them thing there. You know, you'll see it first before others. You understand what I'm saying? And based on 1 and 2 little thing. After that, then we'll release it to the public. But you guys will see it first. You understand? So remember, you know, continue, you know, to stay tuned for, you know, more captivating contents like this. So let's create a world where diversity is celebrated and stereotypes are shattered. But we can tell you, the Jamaican people who have been treated like crap over there or in any, it's partially your fault as Jamaican people, but it's your leaders. Yes, your Michael Manley, your PJ Patterson, your Portia Simpson Miller, your Bruce Collin, and your Andrew Onless. Yeah, they are the ones that, yeah, because when I say none of the, hey, since then, you know, from 1989, Jamaica have a leader, you know, PMS leaders. Destroy the people, their mind. You want leader will lead. Leaders are somebody where push back against the narrative and the culture of criminality. Jamaican leader, no, I saw them get vote. So that's why the people are like that. So when you're in our next country and them are treated a certain way, it's partially your fault and your government fault. Because, yeah, they are the one that destroy the people and encourage them in a criminality. So you watch, you listen, and you decide.
Corrupted place. Serious piece of corrupted place. And it take more than 10 good man, 100 good man to try and bring it back because it's a very corrupted place.
True. May I agree with you with that and them thing there. And you don't know who is who. So you said the police them in a year case of 100 man, then they got prison them thing there?
About 2 of them went on suspension from the fraud squad because they set me up and they didn't have enough evidence and them come to court.
Well, on you see police that when you in a work you don't turn upon you and lock you up?
Yeah, turn upon me. So when I try when so it's like you them get locked up now. When me get bail, right?
No, wait it. Alright. Well, let me get this now. So you are working with some thieving detective 100 man.
100 man. So me buy up some vehicle now because they gonna lie to you, I was not innocent youth, but I was not like for them to have a racketing. They want more into insurance, like I buy a crash car from the insurance, but I have people inside will give them back the documents so I can fix it back and sell it.
You see, okay. That's on a racket, man. And money
right,
you make up.
Right, money me make. So I go on garage on Westminster Road and next one we don't go across and come in Washington, something in a half a tree then I back there so. We don't coming up from down National Bakery and come to the back there.
Yeah. In a Kentucky.
Right. So I go on garage and get my thing fixed back and thing and have a whole heap of vehicle and then me carry a Portmore over there, Portmore me a stay now, I go to Portmore.
Yeah.
So when the man them couldn't get me to do them dirty work, so I go one day and I see the vehicle in the yard.
Which police them then?
Brandon and them, right? So I go one day, I'm gonna see the vehicle in the yard. So I decide I want to find out what I want, so I'm going to make a report. So I'm going to make the report.
Brandon, I'm first name or I'm last name?
My name was Detective Brandon. That's how I can remember.
Oh, so what?
But I think Brandon they come from Washington Boulevard because I track him down enough. The way I get mad, I track him down enough. Some of us doing the park he come from Yeah, because I track him down the way I get mad when I get beat because all you have to do me that, brethren.
So
you know the next one they get locked up to when last in work. Remember it was a policeman We then find out some drug racketing thing. It was the personal bodyguard for the man who owned Nice Juice. It was a big detective man from Portmore and big strong man. Them time the Mark II, they know come out here one of the big batty Mark II and them. The small light one.
What
you know who me attack?
No, some don't know what we attack.
You come and get home with a big case, man, while me over I say me get hold a big case. In a whole heap of racketing in a Spanish tongue. And me and the man was personal friend, you know. I know some know the man and I go to the man enough to help and to tell me what man and them do me, you know. And yo, instead the man take the information them and put it towards the together. You know the man with the information, take it and tell the man them who to arrest me, dog. Me know if because at the time me the own most of the delivery van them in a nice juicy factory. You understand me? If you want to get me and get me out of it. Right, so I never that make him do it because he was the bodyguard for the owner of Nice Juicy Factory. Mr. P and Mr. T when one name. So me the own the delivery van and them. Me the buy it from the delivery van from Birch over South Camp Road. And a few more companies buy a vehicle from a fix by the van them and have them a Jared Juice called a Westmoreland St. Elizabeth. Me have vehicle carry observer paper every morning and send to this better eat a food. So me comfortable with my money me I make. Because I mean I can pay only per lawyer. So when me do send one to the man and say that they can work, they wanna give me for carry for their documents and prove to him man them so them in a corruption and you want. And they might take out some big piece of food for them Syria and them. Because they was targeting most of the jewelry store in and them from Pakistan and India. And them in a corruption and they might bring in jewelry behind closed door and they pressure the man them for some big piece of food. So me go to the man them and say, you know, when I forget money to do that, you know, because me know these people, you know, because they find out me know all our business people them. So me a country boy, you can't use me. Because I depend that because my grandfather was the former minister, Justice Mackenzie, you know. Judge Mackenzie was my grandfather. And my sister was a judge, a lawyer at the time. That is Mrs. DaCosta that married to the Chancellor Huey. Mrs. That before she become judge now. So I even go to my sister and I let it in, you know, because I couldn't take it no more, you know. So when I come from Portmore the evening and I see the vehicle, I'm going 100 man now, things I'm safe to rock it. Call Mr. P now, I do fashion and tell Mr. P I want to see him. Because I don't have a station. Why you know say the man I use my own information for me and turn around so walk out of the station and left them. And I tell them some I return, I left on my keep on the deck, so I jump in a taxi. I run and jump in a taxi and left on my big nice station there and run and get the liar and come back with a liar now and I tell myself that having a liar can't do me nothing, I tell a lie the story. Boy, when I don't tell all my story, the man say a lie me I tell and just charge me.
So what them charge you with? What them charge you with?
Then give me a fraud case for one thief incorporated security firm in a South Camp Road where I sell bullet. Because them time the man who owns the security firm they right at the end of South Camp Road. Just do a lot of work for the company. I think that security become a big company now me here.
Hey, tell the kid them to stop. Tell the kid them to
them know some used to deal with the man. I mean I tell them say why you know say the man they arm the street. So me was comfort telling Mr. P, the man of a Portmore, the policeman, them kind of thing like that. You know, so them you tell them are business people, but them are arm the street, you know. All the man asleep at night, man. All the information, you know, the man go and tell the man, say me a let out him them secret, you know. Cause like they used to have bullet with them bring in through the government service that them bring in bullet, but they not be account how much bullet gone. And them a supply the street.
The gun boy them.
Yeah. Right, so I say, them man asleep at night, man, and knowing that these bullets with them bring in their country legal, through them license with them have to bring in bullet, they must supply the street same way. So me I show Mr. P the thing and like the man them use against me, you know, so the man them tell me say, me take money from the man to do a business and me not do the man business. And you know I save my dread. Them charge me for some cold room or a Portmore. So me fraud some people now and the new one with a Portmore mall they are building new one over 500 mile now. We fight with the bigger mall where Michael Leach in the open big supermarket what they saw in Cousin. And you know so the people must have come to court and tell the judge the truth, say yo, them police tell me to go against a youth man and say you not do no work for me. The youth doing work, we pay him and we comfortable with the unit and them when they put in their building. He never take no money from we. as succumbs, you know. When them make a mistake now, them thief the vehicle them now, we come at the station, identify the vehicle, and when my lawyer come back at the station where I get locked up, you know, the vehicle them disappear. You understand me? The mistake when I make when I get bail now, with that half a tree one day, I'm so on record, man. I'm say, big man, me have one car just like this. I can't find it. I'm not expect to recommend. You know somebody thief it. I might describe the Honda Civic team. And he say, you know, so my car they got all up about 3 weeks ago from Portmore Station. I'm say a lie I tell. And that's how my instinct kick in. You understand me? I'm say, we put the carry and he give me the direction. I'm go down there. And he go right at the spot. I want building and the man tell me say, yes, I recommend come here now. And you know, so the man saying suspects up never right. I recommend come here and rest down some vehicle. Right here, bring about 4 vehicles, and just so him bring them, and next record company pick it up and head back the same direction where the man come from with it. And the man just give me a description of the record, and I track down the record man to find him out of east. And the man say, you know, say, I carry them vehicle, they go a grand spin up our man yard. And brethren, true, me want to save myself, I got a grand spin, I normally go. And go straight in a one gunman yard, one big ton of grand spin yard. I'm walking in the yard, and I just explain the situation to the man that me in the area fix one AC, and I look for a piece of water pipe, and I shut that pipe. And the man walk me down in the yard, and I watch the vehicle, you know. And I left, and you know, I went and check bigger Ford, them time there.
Yeah.
I left and go a bigger Ford house, because I do a roof theme, do a AC theme. And they carry me opposite, with the office there, with the I think is the government's big building where like big boy them there. I'm go over them and tell them the situation, and I call Mutty Perkins, and he come and he meet me there to be a witness what me just see. And yet, would you believe me? Even though bigger Ford send back for the vehicle them, you know, on the way to the stations, at the break them out the left station enough to bring back the vehicle, you know the vehicle never come. Boy, the vehicle them left and gone somewhere else. If it wasn't for Mutty Perkins, we don't get a case again. Tamper with evidence. So they say, you get involved in a detective business.
Them say you're getting a police.
The vehicle them never come out with a police headquarters name.
Flying squad.
We drive to Buchananville, we pick live in a high-rise building.
Oh, yeah, talk opposite the commissioner office.
Opposite the commissioner, hey, and the commissioner after the went to the rescue, you know, to save myself and talk me safe, you know. The vehicle them never come. And the commissioner have to realize something was right, you know, when they intercept the vehicle them, a Spanish town, the 4 vehicle upon 4 different records. I saw the police them get charged, you know. And the judge just dismissed the case, you know. And then my sister said to me, say, you know, say, you have to get out of here, so you know that.
So so when the police, I was sure that them police had the charge?
That would have been more, that would have been like 2001 or 2000. Somewhere around there. My sister just tell me, say, yo, you better get out of town, you know. Because them police will kill you.
They're criminal, them man.
But I say, never know police was so deep. It's like say hear about them things and hear about that police that go up so police stuff and a case and do people things. Until when me hear you talk about some things and I say no, so I lit that story with that man that talk about every day on TV, on this YouTube thing. I never know police in Jamaica was so terrible. So dangerous.
Boy, it's sad
yeah,
here, you know.
You know, so I have a business over here, but there, and I don't like corruption, and I see some things, and I rent a radio program, go up and read the program, and lick up on the system, same way. You know, so the man them turn against me, same way, you know. Give me some blood clot case, and I win, you are going to win all, but the only part I never like, my government never stand up with me. They reach out to my government when they try to kill me over here, because the man them kidnap me in the police service, you know.
The police them kidnapping?
The man in camera got sick. What you mean a camera got sick? Go throw me where brethren. Take some dead brother man.
Hold on, the police them at Trinidad kidnap you?
What you mean?
So you don't know them name?
I'm a blood clot, man. Come in and sell and keep what I sell without nobody know if I'm there. And mash me up real bad. Right now for the rest of my life, I have to live with internal bleeding as a businessman.
So you don't know the name of the police them will beat you up?
Yeah, man, I know everything. That's why I reach out to Wayne Lump some now because I'm talking about this detective, man. Because the case that go on and I end up get back on my feet and I sue the state, you know, for millions, you know.
Which
and I tell you, say, yo, the Trinidad government and the case come and done, and I beg Wayne before the case come done last month. They are begging, please, to get me some lawyer Jamaica where we can get out the country. And when they find out me I leave the country, then all I tell them come from the passport and I never go feed them. But tell them I'm free of them, afraid they kidnap me and kill me like Kashanki where they kill him in a Turkey. I tell them call me to give me my passport. And I tell them I'm not go without witness and people. You might tell them call me.
Who call if you pay your passport? The Trinidad government?
The Trinidad government, yeah.
So you win the case against them?
Yeah, man, I win 2 cases. I will restart 1 more case because the judge tell me that me have to start the case all over because he can't give me one thing me deserve because they have no file of me ever exist. The man in this one, all the medical file, me I tell you.
So,
I was in hospital intensive care for about 29 days back of my life because the amount of dirty water I swallow from the sea water, I try to drown me. Me have internal bleeding cut up because they beat me below my stomach here. So bad.
So alright, so you never have so you're not a liar over Trinidad when I deal with the case?
You know, this is a place I want the most. I walk out for me and become the Minister of National Security.
You don't have a cuss. You don't have to use the phone language.
My lawyer who win the case before me sue them is the Minister of National Security. And all them tell me must wait until if he come out of power. Me say, oh, if you wait so long, I tell you me I suffer internally. Every minute if you check in the hospital because me I bleed heavily internally.
So alright, so you say you sue them. So how much money? So the court not issue no judgment and anything in your case?
I get one of the judgment already.
So how much?
But the judge told me that the reason why she give me that little bit of money, even though it come with a lot of interest, is because we have to counter sue for last file, loss of evidence, last documents, and I have to sue the state 1 more time. But this time, I have to go after the hospital because the hospital play a role of destroying medical record. All the hospital for destroying medical record. And you know our record, the man them come and quote with me, brethren. My personal record me went and do privately. And all me explain to the judge that is my personal thing. If you the police them get on their court and the prosecutor and them, I mean I explain to them that is not the hospital record.
So then we charge you criminally?
Yeah, criminally, I get about 20-something case and I win all.
The
judge of the case was malicious. There was malicious planted.
So what them charge you with?
Well, they charge me for tamper with chassis number of vehicle. They charge me for having wrong number plate on vehicle. They charge me for take bribe from people, for do business with people, for car, have a car place, you know. And they try to bring witness, and all the witness for them to bring come a court and tell the judge they don't know me. Is the police ask them to come?
So you know pickle over them, man, because so all the police them just target you so and them thing. You have a business and
yeah, what happened now? Me own a car rental at the time in a sugar, and that's where the most corrupted part of Trinidad. If you go and Google it, the most corrupted part of Trinidad is a sugar district. So them Indian them now him come and embrace me one night. I come from another part of the country on a flight. He asked me to carry one package back for him. I tell the man say, yo, me not come at Trinidad for them thing. You have to get somebody else to do it. He say, yo, but me know you from Suganas. Me say, yes, me know you too. Me know you as a police officer. Me say, you are going. So you know, so me have experience about Jamaican police, yeah? So me decide say, yo, me nah carry nothing for nobody. So when me come back at Trinidad now, somebody called me a day and say, yo, you know, so that policeman say I have a case to you. So I laugh it off and takes a joking thing in Japan. So I realize somebody follow me. So I stop one day and put up in a corner and ask. I said, bring my way on with me. He said, I must hold you, you know. Must hold upon. You must do something I go hold upon. I say, you can do what you want and do what you have to do because I'm lie them and back me. So go and do what you have to do. So he went by a garage and he said, I fix some vehicles. So he went to the garage and like, because he's so corrupted, he went and write down the wrong number plate. So when he go to the license office over here, you can just copy your phone and get the information, everything online. So he went to the license office and pull him file from the station. So because he write the wrong number plate, he get the wrong information. So I was home lying down, he come and said to me, say, I have evidence against me. Me have to cut a deal with him. He say, you see that vehicle you run in your yard park up there, so I bring my bread in, you have to buy from you have to give him for this price and that price, and I give you a case. So I said, boy, you so powerful, brethren. Serious. So I said, boy, you have to do it, you know. Because I'm not sell my vehicle for that price. I'm not for the vehicle done rent out already, I'm not sell it. So but you do it, because I have my experience on Jamaica police company. So I'm not sell it, you know. I'm not sell my vehicle again. So but you better watch the fire sale time for it. Somebody else rented it, doing my fire sale. So in go and in come back. In left. So about a few days after, my mother-in-law dead, grandmother dead. So I went to the funeral. So I'm home, I'm here. Somebody say some police outside ask who one of them vehicle that are there. So they come and they wake up and call me and say some police outside. So I'm going and they already filed a warrant against me now. They stay away from me. So them time there before them they lock up Jack Warner, you know, FIFA Jack Warner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, him good. Him here what happened to me, so him sent two top lawyer for me and then turned me in a station when they have no warrant against me.
Oh, so you're and Jack Warner link up and thing?
Yeah man, I'm a good friend man, because I'm in a politics over here, you know. Yeah man. So him here what happened to me, so they flag them send down a whole heap of team of people come. And I tell them what the man do me. So they find a restraining order against him from me.
Against the police? Yeah,
against the police. So what he do now, he realized that he become sergeant right after now, about a couple months after. So you know him a sergeant, he can tell the local rookie them to do what they want.
Yeah.
So I'm home now and some rookie come and say, them he say me a wanted man and me them buy and sell corruption vehicle thing, so they need to talk to me. So when I go in the vehicle, I see the man sitting in the X-ray. I was going to run, honestly I was going to run, but when I know law, I said, I nah run, I go see what them want. So I take up my phone sneakily, and I call a radio station, who me a person who I trust, named David Mohammed, maybe know about him, from the nation of Islam.
Yeah.
So I call him, and explain my situation before I leave the house. He said, put on your phone on, and make it go live. So I put my phone in my pocket and I question him in the car and say, ain't you supposed to stay away from me? He said, I am a sergeant now, I could do what I want. You're going down in the station for tamper with vehicle number. So I sit down on my list and I say, what vehicle? He say, I'm attacking vehicle and so the son of a vehicle and the police in my drive car, two young boy, them carry me in the station. They ask him what the reason he carry me for. He say, he will bring the evidence later. So the man make sure they keep me for the whatever 48 hour for the weekend and come the Monday morning. When they come the Monday morning, I know there was a failure. They have address wrong for me. The first time I see a document for a vehicle in that kind of color, I never see it in red and white. I know the vehicles come black and white documents. You have it in red and white. So I laugh. I wait and say, I need to see a lawyer. So my wife same time now left the gun to get a lawyer because they was upset because their family powerful when they married at the time. Married an Indian family. So our family powerful. So they gone to get some top lawyer to come back. So when them come, them carry me to Port of Spain, they never charge me. They put me in a hotel fee. Hotel fee, you know, you can imagine me supposed to be a criminal, but I stay in a hotel part.
The police they put in a hotel?
When they station in Port of Spain look like a hotel because they design like a hotel. We have air conditioning, you have the bed, you sit down in an air conditioning room with them CD. They carry me there because I'm a foreigner. So when them carry me there, I lie down, I relax. They waited till the next day now. Me never know them. Me only see some man just walk in and say, yo, comfy, you know. Are you the man who has set up police life? It's like, well, who know what to talk about? I don't know what to talk about. The man said, come man, the man in drama out of my bed and my boxers, and even the police man come in the room and say, but wait, and I saw no work, when I come and say, take a back man just so and got no sign him. So the man have put on him clothes. So the lady said, no, he must put on him clothes, but he put on him clothes by the door right here. So and me we now driving out now, me ask him, where are we going? He said, you're going up in the east, identity parade for robbery. I said, robbery? So while me didn't almost see man turn off and gone, I want to get to here by the seaside. Me the man tell me, say, come out the vehicle. I say, come out the vehicle for what? The man said, come out the vehicle. I go and pay, you have to come out and stand up right beside me because I don't trust you. So I said, boss, you can't go and go pee, you don't handcuff me son in the vehicle, yeah, so. The man said, come outside and stand up. He said, come outside the vehicle, stand up. The man kicked me straight over in the water. With me handcuff, you know. You want to tell you?
Yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, man, kick me over in the water. And when me drop in the realize me have the thing deep, you know. So I start a ball off the help after the man say, he will kill my boss.
So what the police say the name?
His name is I have everything on paper, man. One is Hewitt. One of them, I can't remember my name of Hewitt. I can't forget him in my mind. I can't forget him in Hewitt, you know, because he changed his name in the middle of the case. And that would get me upset. Yeah, man. He changed the whole profile of himself, everywhere he looking, everything. That after since 2014, I would have forget him face. He changed his whole entire identity. I'm a Rasta man now, all kind of thing, with big old beard on his face, still in his survey. But he's working in a different department now that deal with prisoner. So him kick me and him bad man beat me body now. So same time some police put on the body here now with the upper gangster and live and I realize some police and a man that want to struggle. Because me not like him put it foot on me and me dry him off in the water with me. Because I say if me go down and the toe I go drown. I'm going to hold on for him. Yeah. I'm hold on for him and not let him go. So three told me about muddy water we can hardly recognize him. I tell the next colleague to shoot and the next man to buy home to shoot the man. Him to shoot the man, he write the report after. Same time some police pull up and ask him what going on here. He said me try escape custody. So you know our next charge that no. So them carry me down the station. Up till today, me the clothes them see we full of money now. You can show them right now, me and them till the paper bag. Paper bag, here we. So when them carry me there for them down one station now, for high-rising building, the man, I mean, stop, the first thing carry them one basement and beat the merciless out of me. And so I start to bleed internally now.
The police them?
Me have all the dirty water, murky water. So I don't know, me keep hallucinate one time.
Yeah, hallucinate.
So by the time the lawyer reached now,
which year that happened?
2014. So my lawyer reached now. In the evening, because the man handcuffed me like an animal, like a dog, you know. First time I know you can handcuff somebody behind him back for 11 hours, you know. So me was handcuffed from early in the morning, 8 o'clock, from behind, handcuffed me hand behind me on my foot. So me remain in that position all day. That's when the man them let me go give me water. Me just fall forward on my face and bust my face. And then they hang me up to the ear, then draw one card from one wall and draw me up in the ear. So I stand up to drink the water. So then here who is a liar come now, they say it's a 5 lawyer downstairs. That's when they meet the senior superintendent. So when the senior superintendent come now, he asked me, why this prisoner in this condition? So they wipe off my face. He talked to me. He said, let him loose. So he asked me, what am I doing there? So I explained my situation to him. He called the 2 officers who were supposed to charge me. He said, I want your son right beside me here. I want you to listen to this story. He said, did anybody ask you any of these questions that I'm asking you? I said, no, sir. He just beat me from morning and separation. He said, who is the officer brought you here, let you hear me? Tell him who is the man. He said, hold on, I'm coming back. And he went and he made some phone call. And when he come back, he said to them, all I want to come and sit down right just beside me. He said, Mr. Arrow, I heard that former Minister of National Security is downstairs, Fitzgerald Hines. I heard that Jack Warner is downstairs. And I said, then Jack Warner is the minister. Them time there. And National Security. And my lawyer is the former Minister of National Security at a party before. So they hear all them downstairs and Rika Ramjick and some lawyer. So them decide them all wipe me off. Me decide me now wash off. And when they come and see me, they can show me inner. So then when the man don't talk to me, the man said to me, you have a good team of lawyer downstairs. And I believe they will advise you to take the proceed from here on. And washing the hand, I have nothing more to say. The man's going to make a corrupted police. A corrupted police who always on suspension brought a man here with all these charges for 14 years. The man brought a charge for 14 years ago, you know. With somebody who don't know me, I mean, I know the person, you know. In just picking up charges. And
so 14 years ago, were you in Trinidad then?
Me always a back and forth from Trinidad since me a young look. Even me dad Jamaican in the 90s and the 2000s, me always a back and forth from Trinidad. Come buy air conditioning unit and ship to Jamaica and sell. Oh, okay. So come and company named Peaks and ship it and come down come sell.
Yeah.
So when
let me ask you then. So when I call a radio station David Mohammed, Nation of Islam, what did the conversation went live on the radio?
Went live on the radio, so everything went live.
So everybody
and the radio station them know all the radio station who know me know come involved in like a radio program with the youth and them and try to talk. Even the family premise where they did the Apache man, you know, was like my best friend in the Apache man. He invite me now all in crime meet that we ain't keep, you know, because he knows so we know a lot of crime going to Jamaica, so he invite me. In a whole heap of meet them, I'm going to the rule right here for talk to youth and them. The last meet them, I will kill out all of the gangsters them where they say Patrick Manning call a hit for all of them because about 11 of them to run one gang in the G unit. And all come and dead and me interact with all of them before them dead. Reason with them about Jamaica and crime and corrupted police. In a Hilton Hotel. First we went Hilton Hotel, we went Royal Palm Hotel, about 4 hotel we not meet with them. So we meet a lot of the gangs and all them want to talk to me to find out how the life run at Jamaica. You understand me? And why are we doing that? Them realize we know a lot of people. So the whole radio station them lit up that day they find out what the Jamaican is the police are trying to kill him. Don't get killing him, man. If they say me the iron number long time, I make you listen to some show. What we do right now we have a show we do over so we tell the story what go on with me now. Talk to them and this morning from 4 o'clock this morning with US Embassy, you know. From 4 o'clock this morning with US Embassy.
Oh yeah, try to get a visa for left?
No. Because when I have my business, I should go and see owned by a US citizen. So, he give me a rundown building, I'm going to rebuild back the building and make the building look like an international store. But if you see my business, you're straight blind to me a millionaire. Just by looking at the business, you tell yourself that boy, they're a millionaire.
Yeah.
You're a normal youth. So, me only say to my youth that the earliest I buy some sports car, but really, me never shouldn't do. You understand? But that was my dream. So I always want to own some convertible BMW or some sports car because to my group of kings, so I see Willie got with them things. I always say one day I want them things that you know.
Which part of town you come from?
I never grew up as a normal youth. I grew up and know about life and anything and them and the whole work. So I never grew up in a crime that I want to do crime. I grew up and know about business and making money. So when the thing happen now and I come and the man them get charged and me go to court, the man decide to use immigration against me. Boy, that next trouble they found me. The man they make sure they destroy all of my immigration file. The man they make all my wife to divorce me and that kind of thing. Because to give me a case, for being an immigration, you have to clean. And immigration don't like Jamaican, none at all. Forget Jamaican, get them documents at Trinidad, you have to believe a 40 year and 30 year. Forget your papers. Serious what me I tell you.
Yeah.
And I said, no matter how I write Jamaican government to look into it, last me we really keep with the Jamaican government. Me casting that me and David Mohammed. Me and David Mohammed turn up the heat for the Jamaican government. If you look into it, you have to stop that product and you know how them look into it. And the rich boy from Jamaica get locked up away, so one of them face formality boy.
A rich man from Jamaica get locked up over there?
Yes, by mistake. And that's so. They start pulling things off a shelf off of Jamaica because we are talking about it all along when David Mohammed and the government now take it on.
Which rich man from Jamaica them did lock up then?
One of the boy them from LaSalle group of company there in our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he must have gone one bar or something, and you know the man, a white Jamaican white boy and thing, and the money and like a police coming and place and rough up some people, so he must go say something like, what's wrong with you guys, man? You guys can operate like human beings and whatever, and lock up the man. The man brutal. After they done, the man do they realize who the man is.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they never say so much of top people and top lie and private jet pick up the man just from Trinidad.
And
when the man go down,
him sue them to one there.
Yeah, I think it's them buy out the case, man. The Prime Minister trying to figure out to fly down to Jamaica to make peace with the manufacturing industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Who share that happen?
That happened about 7-8 years ago. When Jamaica they take off Trinidad goes off of the shelf. Right, we can't even get Jamaican food to buy over here. Wasted they can't get a chance in the market. If you try bring some excess crackers and bun and cheese, them seize it for your custom. Them when they bring whole heap of grocery from Jamaica, them seize it, man. They try one Jamaica grocery, they seize everything, man.
You can't bring Jamaican goods at Trinidad. Them don't want them over there.
No, them find all means of way to take it from you. You have to smuggle in bun and cheese. You have to smuggle all the cheese come here. Especially the cheese, you have to smuggle it in like a drugs you have to smuggle.
I lie. Eh?
Hey, me have some story to tell you what Jamaican go through, yes, sir. Man, you'll hold your head and ball. Right now, immigration, the Jamaican High Commissioner tell me today, say, it have more than 100 files, pan index a letter where Jamaican citizens, they take away the rights and the documents from them, and you could have married after married about 20 people, you still a go home.
So
the day they feel like you I must be the only one because they spend the money with liar. They don't hold, they try to hold them for me several times, bring me to the airport and lie, just come meet them on tarmac and say let him go now. Let him go now.
So what kind of
try to move with me, you know.
So what kind of papers you have to live there?
To live here? I don't even know where to start from to tell you because me married 2 times now. With kids from first wife, previous wife, and with next wife now. And every 5 years, you then can't find your file. You wouldn't do Jamaican. You have to travel out the country every 6 months. Because they want you to use up the airline to make money.
What do you mean you have to travel out the country every 6 months?
Just to be here, you have to travel every 6 months, you have to leave the country.
Why?
Just so they set the immigration through system. Every 6 months you have to jump on a flight. They only give you 6 months. You have to keep about 6 months. Buy the etiquette. Even when you have your CARICOM papers as CARICOM citizen, register your business CARICOM, them still have find a means of way to tell you, you did never sign a piece of paper if you get to do this one and do that. And you have to board a flight. And the first thing tell you, just travel and come back and start fresh again. That's what they're doing.
No, man.
We think today when they call me today, I tell them I now come nowhere. I just want to put on your hand for me. At some point, you know, they call Jamaica High Commissioner, ask them to come to see me because what happened this morning, I was on a radio program with the national radio was on the I-95 and it was live. And they must say, so why Jamaican government do nothing about it? Why the government of Jamaica is not doing nothing about it? We must read the amount of file where the High Commissioner said they write the National Minister of National Security how many times and now respond to the right foreign affairs. So the media them start lick out on them now. And that's when they call me in and ask me to come, just come and collect your passport. So I'm walking in a building, I see about 20 of them surround me. So I say when you plan to kidnap me, no one cut up to the embassy and feed me to the dog.
Which embassy?
They say, why are you acting like that? No, the immigration department. That's what I said to them. They plan to kidnap me like Kashanki, where they kidnapping in any place name in Turkey. So that I said to them, so they plan to kidnap me like Kashanki and me disappear from the embassy. So I said to them, say, can I take up my phone and contact somebody that you know in the US? You just left me a message. I know enter the immigration department. I say I'm gonna contact somebody, them know which part me there. That's in case anything happened to me. Because I don't trust you. So me look up and see about 20 man come. They locking our gate outside. Me say nobody out town no mind. And me say open that gate. I have nothing to say to you. And I'm going back to the High Commissioner. I'm going to drive back and go back around there. I said, Mr. Ara, what happened? I say, I thought these people come to talk to me. Why 20 people come to meet me? What they planning again now? What they have something new again against me now? Something new? Because they know all the last week me depend from read the program. They know me depend that.
So what they want you to do? They want you to leave over there?
Because the judge told them that the man is a taxpayer paying tax. When I rent a car business, a grocery and a auto parts company, you don't have no right to just jumble in the man. Leave the man alone. Them every time I go there find fault and some paperwork I have to do over, something I have to do back again. I have to travel the country and come back one more time. And I'm telling you,
so
you
what?
can't go Grenada or Barbados. You have to travel all the way to Jamaica. Because Jamaica, to go to Grenada is $400. Go to St. Vincent's is $200. Go to Barbados is about $400, and go to Jamaica is $7,000. 1,000 US to go to Jamaica. So I book a ticket with my wife and my 2 children to leave Christmas down, and then seize my daughter passport, so we couldn't leave.
So your daughter are Trinidadian?
Born Trinidadian.
So why them seize her passport?
And my wife are born Trinidadian, and they have up to now they can't give me a reason, the reason why the passport was taken away.
So weird, is that criminal? So weird, it's come like the police are more powerful than the politician them over there.
Exactly, that's what going on. That's what they try telling you. In the immigration here, tell them a law unto themselves. The only thing you can beat them is when they reach the courthouse. Only when they go courthouse, they have no strength in there. Them and the police, when they reach the courthouse, they have no say. No say. Because when the policeman tell when he's done with me, they'll get about 40 years. And in the courthouse, I can realize he never have no power. Not one piece of power.
So what? So
it's the first time I hear a judge tell a policeman, today you say you're an acting inspector. Today you're going to act for me today. I was like, I'm in front of me here, you're going to explain all this like a movie star. So you come by all this evidence and where you get them from. And you have to prove to me how you come by them. The first time I hear a judge tell a policeman, you need to get out the court now. Get out the court, and when I'm ready for you, I will contact you. And so let me deal with these so-called witness we are bringing here. And she told the police them we should charge all of them, give them a case. They'll come in a court and fabricate case and wasting government time. So what them do now, we contact Mr. William now. Let me explain that the case are going and it's about to wrap up. That no one fly out the country if we come seek a lawyer. So we can get my lawyer from Jamaica to put an injunction against their lawyer here and my lawyer here. Because they only want me to reason it out and take a small money and walk. But only if I take a small money and walk, knowing how bad my injury was.
All they want if you take the money and then you left Trinidad.
Whether I left it or I stay here, but I just take a small money and just drop the case, drop everything and just work something.
So you want a good, we can give you a number a good lawyer Jamaica man.
Right, so we now file back a next application. We have a next application to file anytime now before we reach next 3 months because the case now finished on the 17th of November. And the 17th of November when the case was finishing, I was also in the hospital. Okay. So the trial went on live while in the hospital bed because I was end up in the hospital for nervous breakdown. Yeah,
so this is part 2, and coming up shortly you'll get part 3. We'll give you because this man's story is really riveting. But it goes to show you that and I hope the Jamaican people are taking note, because you know that Jamaicans are the most hated people in the Caribbean, and the reason being is because of Jamaican people behavior. You know that we have a very toxic culture, a very acidic culture of criminality. And you can, listen to what this man is saying. And the police went as far as even try to frame him. Yeah, they tried to even frame this man, to throw criminal charges on him and all kind of thing. So, it's because he's Jamaican. No one, so as Jamaica, and you can see even the police over there, they're egoist. Because if someone is talking back to you, you're going to arrest them, and that's just crazy. But coming up shortly, you'll get part 3. So, hope you enjoy the conversation that we had with that man. That's the same man that Ugly Son was trying to scam. But he's a smart man, because you know that this man, he been there, done that. He was in Jamaica working with some corrupt police officer, but you understand, and it's police why he run away from Jamaica, corrupt police officers. He said he could not take it anymore, but he was a part of the ring with these police officers, you understand. But that's how it working, because he knew people back in Jamaica who are from Pakistan and India that in Jamaica are bringing in illegal stuff, and why these police officers were operating as custom brokers, custom officers. I don't know how them do it, but that's how it is in a Jamaican. Police are very creative, especially the criminals. So coming up shortly, you will get part 3 of this conversation with this man, and trust me, it's only getting juicier. So have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.